or you have an existing customer that comes in. And what are you going to do now in the current economic condition? How do you respond? How do you react? How do you change what you're doing? And really, one of the things why I asked our guest to come on, because she's an expert in customer service and phone sales and support, is because how, even before the pandemic hit, were you maximizing every opportunity that came your way? Were you properly handling customer service and client support the right way? Chances are you probably weren't. So we've asked Nancy Friedman, who's the founder and chairman of the Telephone Doctor and of the Telephone Doctor Customer Service Training System. And we've asked her to join us and give us some background. And oh, by the way, be on the lookout in the coming couple of weeks. She also will be featured on one of our upcoming podcasts for the Multiply Your Success podcast. So be on the lookout there. So Nancy, why don't we go ahead and turn things over to you and get things started here?
I just wanted Brian to see that this is the mask that we've been giving out. So I'm not going to wear it all the time, Brian, so you can see. But you were supposed to see that my eyes were smiling. So Brian, thanks for joining us. And we've got a power pack program here. If nobody joins us, you're going to be very, very special to me. And if others do, well, that's fine too. One of the things I wanted to do is obviously is hear what the audience is and doing. So Brian, I'm going to, oh, there's another one. There's an iPhone 2 coming on. Brian, can you hear us? And can you want to put your picture on? Stud?
He may be, oh, there we go.
All right.
Hello there.
Is that Brian?
Actually, you have Marshall Graham here. How are you, Nancy?
Marshall Graham?
How are you, dear heart?
This is wonderful that you're there. Where's your picture?
Well, I'm attempting to get it here. I don't know why it's not giving me the option. What the heck?
Tom, I'm not the only blonde in the audience, see?
All
right.
Okay, let me see. Let me see. Maybe that did it. Okay.
You see where it says video and, oh, look at you.
There we are. How are you?
That's do you know Tom? Do you know Tom? Tom, do you know Marsha?
We've not met, but hello.
He's wonderful. And there's Javon. Brian, are you still alone? Did you go to the bathroom or what'd you do? Oh, he's muted. Never mind.
Yeah, he may just be listening in today.
So Marsha, I wanted you to see this.
I love it. I have seen your style all over the internet. So I love it. I love it.
I'm out of them, but I'll see that you get one.
I really appreciate it. I think of you every time I see one. I'm like, there's Nancy.
Thank you. I'll tell you, LinkedIn has brought so many special relationships to so many people. Excuse me. And I've been one of them. And Marcia and I it's like if we met, we would just start the conversation from the last conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I hope you've been well.
We are, thank God. We were saying we don't know if we're going to get 6 or 60 people, but the bottom line here is whoever joins us will get some awfully good information. I wanted to start, and I started to go with Brian, but he's not paying any attention to me. So I'll go with you, Marcia. Give us your 30-second elevator speech on what you do, etc., so that everybody can hear a little bit about you. Go.
My name is Marshall Graham. My company name is Franchise Selection Partners. We're a brokerage helping entrepreneurs realize their dreams in the franchising world. We can assist them in either joining in by buying or investing in a franchise, and or if they have an existing model they'd like to create a franchise from, we can assist them with that as well.
Very good. I appreciate that. Brian, are you going to talk or not?
I think he's just tuning in here.
Okay. Hi, Brian. All right. Well, I am Nancy Friedman, and you're entitled to a little information on me. I was born in Chicago, Illinois. You are not entitled to the year.
Oh, come on.
Usually gets lots of laughs. Oh, good. Couple smiles. That's good. I started my career at WGN Television in the sales and service department. Several years after that, my husband bought a radio station in San Diego, California, and I helped set up the sales and service department of that radio station. Several years after that, we bought our second radio station where we live today in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm proud to say I helped set up the sales and service department of that radio station. Sold it many years ago. I'm going to wear the glasses only because I did make some notes and I don't want to forget about them, obviously. While running the radio stations here in St. Louis, my husband created a company called Weatherline Incorporated. Weatherline Incorporated was the largest private provider of weather information by phone in the United States. We had over 130 cities from New York to California, Texas to Minnesota, clients having dial-in weather services sponsored by a local bank, newspaper, etc. We did not franchise them. They were all ours. We were not a franchise then. However, a few years after that, I had a visit from a franchise friend of mine who was just retired in Marshall. If you know the Listons, Mark and Mary Kay Liston, do you know them? All right. Well, he came to my office one day and he said, Nancy, you should join IFA. I said, nah, I don't want to join IFA. Why? I don't know. Well, anyway, he didn't make me join. I did join and I met obviously fabulous people. What a lot of people don't know is prior to joining IFA is I was a franchisor. Telephone Doctor had 5 franchisees. 4 we kept too long. 4 we got rid of right away. 1 we kept too long. I always mix those up. Franchising wasn't for us. And that's okay, because if it's not for you, you shouldn't be in it, or whatever you do. Swimming's not for you, you shouldn't go swimming. But the bottom line is I was able through IFA to help companies communicate better with their customers. So the franchising family, I become part of it, and we deal with corporate America as much, even more than franchising, but we got a beautiful combination of each, and I'm very proud of it. I'm going to cover the part only because it's interesting. People say, well, how did you get to be the telephone doctor, Nancy? Well, I didn't just drop from the sky. What happened is a true story, and I want you to pay close attention because it could happen to you. Many years ago, I picked up my telephone and I called my insurance agent and I told him to cancel all my policies. Oh my gosh, I heard him fall off the chair. He said, my gosh, Nancy, what's wrong? I said, your people stink. They're so rude. They're so abrupt. They're so unfriendly. I just don't want to deal with them. I said, you know, your wife is pretty, your kids are cute, but I'm not going to do business with you anymore. He said, you know, Nancy, when I call your office, I'm treated like a king and I'm not even a customer. I said, Michael, we treat our wrong numbers better than you treat your customers. He said, would you do me a favor? He said, would you come show my guys what you guys do? Well, yeah, I will. So I went over to his office about 9 o'clock one morning. They had coffee and donuts, maybe 6, 7 people in the room. Had a cup of coffee, had a donut, and I stood up in front of the 6, 7 people, and they were looking at me much like you're looking at me. Oh, what's she gonna say? And I said, well, in our office, we say please. And one woman said, Hilda, write that down. That's a good one. True story. True story. I said, we say thank you. We say you're welcome. Have a nice day. You look super. Happy birthday. That's what we do at our office. I didn't think much about it, had another coffee and started to walk out the door. The president of the insurance agency stopped me on the way out and he said, wait a minute, Nancy. I said, what's wrong? He said, well, nothing's wrong. I wanted to thank you. I said, well, you're welcome. He says, no. You don't understand. We really learned some new things. I came home and I talked to my husband, told him what I did that day. And he said, Nancy, don't ever be surprised. Nobody has ever shown them. Well, I happen to mention the same story that I share here with you today to the then general manager of a newspaper in Davenport, Iowa, and told him the story. We were having dinner and went to my office the next morning. He was calling me saying, Nancy, I thought about what you talked about last night, and you're right. He said, would you come to my newspaper? Would you train my people? I looked at my husband and I said, now look what you got me into. Well, I happened to have married the can-do man, and the can-do man said, you can do it, Nancy. So I went up to Davenport, Iowa, and delivered 4 programs, morning, afternoon, next day morning, 4 of them, 4 hours long. The first program was delivered only to management, top-level executives, because Bob, the general manager of the newspaper, said to me, if this program is to work, and I want it to, it must start at the top, Nancy. It must dribble down. It cannot dribble up. And so I want all the management of this newspaper to understand what's going to happen. So I delivered the programs, and at the end of the first session, the editor of the Quad City Times walked up to me and he pointed his finger in my face. He said, you know, you're very good. He said, you sure have all the cures. Snapped his fingers. He said, I'm going to call you the doctor. I'm going to call you the telephone doctor. And I ran home to Dick. I said, Dick, somebody called me the telephone doctor. What do we do? He said, let's go get it registered. We're going to have some fun. And fun we've been having running around the country, the world, if you will, helping companies communicate better with their customers and coworkers. So without any further ado, questions. We got another person on the line. Brian, hello, Brian, you're still there. And client, what does that say, client? Is that a person? I love to know who's on the line with me. All righty, I am not an expert in franchising. I'm an expert in people and customer service, and I'll stand on that soapbox from now until forever. So what we're gonna do today is play a little game. You ready? We're gonna play Nancy's Golden Nuggets of Customer Service. In this bag are about 15 or 20 golden nuggets. And what is a golden nuggets? It's a tip, idea, skill, or technique. I talk about 2-3 minutes on each one. Some are a little longer. Now, normally I have like a Vanna White, or I would say, okay, Yvonne, or okay, Marshall, you know, pick a nugget. But I have only my husband here today, and he's camera shy because he's not dressed. You don't want to see him. Okay. So I'm going to stick my hand, and I know what's in here, but I have no idea what's coming out. You ready? All right. I'm going to, this one, and what did I pick? Be friendly before you know who it is. Be friendly before you know who it is. I've seen people waiting in reception rooms looking at a caller ID, and they say, oh, it's him. Hello? They think they know who it is. It's not that person. So being friendly is not just a phrase. You've got to be friendly all the time, no matter who it is. And we'll talk about caller ID. I think one of the nuggets is caller ID, and why Nancy Friedman, the telephone doctor, is not in support of caller ID, at least why you shouldn't use it. But you got to be friendly before you know who people are. That's what LinkedIn is. You accept somebody before you know them. You don't know if you're going to like them. If you remind me, Tom or Yvonne or even Marshall or hi, Brian. Brian becomes the phantom man. I'm worried about him. I'll talk about some LinkedIn tips we have.
Hi, Nancy.
Is that Brian?
Yes.
Do you have a picture of yourself? Can you turn on your video?
I will.
See, this is being friendly before I see him, right? And there's another person. Okay. Brian, are you a blonde? You're having trouble, honey? All right. I'll see you.
I don't resemble that comment.
Okay. What city are you in, Brian?
I'm just outside of Chicago, so I'm very familiar with WGN.
I bet you are. And I was born and raised on the South Side. So Tom is also. Give us a little 30-second snippet of your elevator speech on what you do, sir.
Well, I actually have the pleasure of working with Tom for about 9 years now.
Okay, that's good.
I work here, and I help with sales and marketing.
Oh, good. You're with Big Sky.
Yes.
Correct. Well, I'm glad you're there. Well, then I can find your picture somewhere. I'll find you on LinkedIn. Okay.
I thought I turned it on, but oh well.
Sorry, we like you anyway. We like you anyway.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All righty. So be friendly before you know who it is. All right, let's see what we got for the next one. The 3 musts in selling to women. Aren't we sorry we don't have more people? But that's okay. We can do this again. We can use the same nuggets, or we can find other nuggets. We have over 1,000 little nuggets, Tom, so don't worry about that. We are different, aren't we? Aren't we? We are different, Marshall. We are different, Yvonne. I mean, that's what we are. That's why we're women. And selling to us is different than selling to men. I know people say, well, sales is sales is sales. Yeah, but what are the top 3 things most women, of course not all, most women are looking for? Anybody want to take a guess? Tom, besides sex?
Oh my gosh.
All right, I won't put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Yvonne, all right, let me ask you, Yvonne, what do you like or don't like when you go into, whether it's, you know, a grocery store or go to buy a dress, or, you know, what turns you on and says, hey, I like this place, or what turns you off? Let's see if you hit any one of them.
Well, I want it to, in regards to like what I'm purchasing or the place I'm purchasing.
The place when you walk in, you know, the immediacy of when you walk into some place is, wow, this is fun or nice, or I'm not so sure about this place.
Sure, yes, so atmosphere is a huge thing for me. So, you know, lighting, the temperature, the music. If it's too loud, I'm definitely gonna be out pretty quickly.
Not an Abercrombie and Fitch lady, I guess. Okay.
Not me, no.
Not that loud.
You know, nice and smooth lines, clean area, something that feels
What about the people? What about the people?
friendly, somebody that acknowledges you, says hello, thank you, thanks for coming in, glad to see you today. Customer service is like really good customer service is a big thing for me.
Thank you. Marcia, you got anything to add on that? Oh, she's muted. I can't hear her. Okay.
Here we go. I think I'm unmuted now.
There we go.
All right, there we go. I was going to also dovetail. I love when I walk into any establishment, one, that I'm acknowledged in a friendly way. How may I help you? Let me know how I may help you. I don't like being stalked, but I do like being acknowledged and greeted.
Sometimes we like being stalked, but not in the store when we're shopping, right? No. Well, you're right. But the list that came up when we take the surveys, and those are all obviously great points. Women need eye contact. We need you to listen to us. And the third thing that is so important, because you both said it, if you're talking to us without a smile, you might as well go home. You might as well go home. And whether you're another woman working with us or a guy, we work with smiles. I mean, what did we learn when we were 2 years old, Yvonne and Marshall? We learned with a smile what it'll get us. Hi, Daddy, give me candy.
Right. Sure.
I mean, the smile works through it. So it's so important. And how many people really believe it or understand it? You know, so many people say, Nancy, you're just talking common sense. Right. But do I need to tell you common sense is not so common today? I mean, that's our mantra. It's just common sense. So I've made a nice little living selling common sense. Yeah, that's being friendly. And then the must of three. So we really like eye contact and the listening skills to a woman, saying to a woman, what'd you say? I'm sorry. I was like, hi, Bob. I wasn't. Want to go lunch? Yeah, sure. Yeah. What were you saying, Yvonne? I mean, not listening to it. Tom, are you taking notes on this? This is important.
I am, yes, taking notes.
Okay, good. All right. So
I'm a good listener.
You are. Brian?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. No, I want to remind you of a story about WGN. I should tell it now, otherwise I forget it. Am I okay telling it now?
It's your show today, so yeah.
All right. Well, everybody realizes that top-down management is critical. And I ran a LinkedIn poll a few weeks ago to find out who's responsible, the bottom line, for customer service. Was it the CEO? Was it the manager? Was it the customer service rep? Or was it you as a customer? Who's responsible for good service? And overwhelmingly, over 63% said it starts at the top. It's CEO, executive. Let me tell you a true story. Many years ago, as I say, I worked at WGN, and I stayed friendly with a sales rep that was there. And eventually he became the CEO of Tribune Broadcasting. And Brian, you may have known the name, but I'm not going to say his name now because he has passed away. But he became the CEO of Tribune and also had a lot of hands-on with the Cubs. And I happen to be a huge Cubs fan. Yeah, I think I'm the only one. That's all right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. That's okay.
That's what they all say. Who won the pennant 100 years ago? Was it 3 years ago now? Who won the pennant? We did.
That's okay. Brian's a Cubs fan too. I happen to be a White Sox fan, so I just have to say something.
Yeah, they're still around.
2016.
Is that team still playing? All right.
Wow.
Anyway, the CEO called me about 10 years ago. And he said, Nancy, I want you to come up and train my sales department. He said, we need your help. And he also had me train the Cubs office during the strike, but that's another story. So I said, okay, so make the date, fly up and go to the room. There's maybe 75, 100 people in the room. And he says to me, okay, he says, I'm glad you're here. He says, take you out to lunch. Meet me at lunch. I said, where are you going? He said, I'm going to play golf. I said, no, you're not. He said, well, I got to tee off at 9 o'clock. Cancel it. What do you mean? I said, if you're not here, I'm not here. Now, I happen to be very good friends with this guy and can talk with him. I said, you're CEO of Tribune Broadcasting, and you don't want to sit through this program that you've asked me to come to?
Oh, wow.
And we did that 15-second stare down.
Pregnant pause.
I said, sit, go make the call. You don't feel well, or better yet, tell them the truth. You know, you're going to a program that needs customer service. So he did, and suffice to say, the nice things that he said afterwards is thank you so much. But really what was the point is all those employees came up to him to thank him for bringing me. So without him there, he may not have heard that. So it does start at the top. And if you're sitting there as a CEO or manager and you don't sit through any, I'd love it to be mine, but any of the programs, what does that say about you? So Brian, that's my WGN story.
Nice.
Good one. All right. So, oh, how I wish you all could pick your own little nuggets, but let's see what we can bring up here. Okay. Oh, I love this one. Empathy versus sympathy. Why do I love that? Because people get those two words mixed up. They really do. They empathize with people when it's not right. Normally I've got, 50, 60, 100 people in the audience and say, raise your hand if you've ever had open heart surgery. Any of you ever had open heart surgery? Tom, Yvonne, Brian, mystery man over here, client. Do we know who that is? Okay. All right. So I had open heart surgery 8 years ago. So for you to say, oh, I know how you feel, which is empathizing, is not, how can you know how somebody else feels if you haven't been through the experience? And even if you have been through the experience, we will have different emotions. So I'm real frustrated with people say, oh, I know exactly how you feel. No, you don't. No, you don't. You can't. My father passed away many years ago, and I'm sitting in the funeral home. A friend taps me on the shoulder. She says, oh, Nancy, I'm so sorry. I know exactly how you feel. I said, Myrna, your father's sitting right over there. You cannot, how can you say that to me? No, you're right. Yeah, I'm right. I don't want to be right. That is not the point. So we don't say, I know how you feel anymore. We say, gosh, that's got to be frustrating. I can't imagine how you're going through it, even if I've been through it. So keep these are just little nuggets of life, not earth-changing, but good ones. All right, what do we got here? Oh, this is good. Can you see that? This is fun. Oh, the glasses. The number one, what is the number one trait employers want in an employee? Well, Tom, you're an employer. What's the number one trait you want in your employee? And there's nothing wrong here. This is just what came up in our polls.
Well, for me, most important thing that I look at initially is attitude, without question. Attitude, and just because that attitude will fit into our culture, which will spill into, how they talk to customers or each other and so on.
Well, that certainly bumps right up into what won the poll. The poll was responsibility, stepping up to the plate. Screw up, tell me about it, because we can fix it. Hide it, you're out. The responsibility is what came up as the number. I don't say attitude is wrong by any means.
Yep.
But what came up in the polls and the surveys, and my surveys are from my audiences, when we were blessed enough to have 500 and 600 people in a room, that came up, and we do this. I do it right there in the audience. Raise your hand, and we tally them up. And you can get 500 people to give us a little good signal of what's going on. So responsibility, stepping up to the plate, telling the truth. I mean, people know in my office, even though my son's running the business now, you break something or you screwed up on an order, tell me about it. We will fix it. But tell me you didn't do it, or fib, or point the finger. He did it. That's not going to work. So the number one trait, responsibility, etc. So I welcome any questions in between, even though we're local people here, Marshall. If you're a seasoned salesperson, and the fun part about telephone doctor techniques is you probably are aware of this. I would say though that 90% of the people that come up to an audience say, I knew that. I forgot about it. Thank you.
Sure.
And every once in a while, you know, it's just something that comes to, we put it to the front of the, or there's a new tip or technique that you haven't heard of. So if you have a question, go ahead and just raise your hand or butt in or raise your hand, because what's really important is that I answer for even the few people that are here, that I answer the question for you immediately, because you will not be an interruption to me. You are the very reason I am here. Isn't that nice?
It is.
All right. All right. What do we got here? Oh, 5 frustrating voicemail phrases, which I'm going to bet is on every one of your cell phones right now. One of these phrases or more.
Not mine.
Who? Oh, because you already know, right?
I've already.
Okay, good. Yeah. So good for you. And it just makes a huge amount of difference. Let me run through. And by the way, I don't know who this client is. Are you here? Are you having fun, client? Can you unmute him or her? Are you having fun, client, person extra? Is that like a shill?
They may just be tuned in.
That's all right. That's okay. We're glad to have you. So the 5 frustrating voicemail phrases are on our website at nancyfriedman.com. It's one of our biggest video hits around, and there's a couple articles on them too. The first of the 5 frustrating voicemail phrases is, hi, this is Bob, and I'm not able to answer my phone right now. Well, that's a hot lot of news. I mean, voicemail answers. So why would you even say that? The second one is, I'm sorry I missed your call. Well, you know what? Sometimes we're not. Sometimes, oh, good, I missed your call. Good, good, good. And the third one is what we call the groaner. Oh, hi, Brian. Thank you. If I were in my office, you'd see my Cubs flag behind me. Okay. Bye, Brian.
Hello, I had to get my hat.
Yeah, I said I have a flag in my office. All right, so you got the first, the second, the third of the 5 frustrating voicemail phrases is what we call the groaner. I just blanked. I just absolutely went out of my head. Just a moment. Oh.
I'm not here right now. Leave your message.
No, that's the 4th one. I just absolutely blanked. Does that ever happen to anybody? Okay,
Yeah.
well, the 4th one is, I'll be back in a moment.
Well, just start at the top. Go through them. 1, 2, and 3 will pop back in.
And I just, because Brian came out, he's so gorgeous, I had to talk to him. See what good-looking men do to me. Smile, Brian. Thank you. You notice Tom has been smiling the whole time? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not at my desk right now. I'm sorry I missed your call. Oh my God, it's the best one. The groaner. It's just a mental block right now. It's never happened to me. Tom, you are my never has happened to me person.
That's all right. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, we'll keep it rolling. Okay, so the 4th one is, go ahead and leave your number and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Well, what's wrong with that, Nancy? Everybody's got that. Well, everybody doesn't have that. I don't. My husband doesn't. Half the people in my office don't. What's wrong with it? As soon as possible means nothing, because your as soon as possible is different from your as soon as possible is different from his as soon as possible. And so it just should be, go ahead and leave your name and number and I will return your call.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is what we call an exit plan. Leave another place to reach you. My email is Nancy at telephonedoctor.com, or here's my home number, here's my cell phone, here's my office number, here's my mother's number, someplace else I can reach you. And I will be back with that 3rd one. It just absolutely, it's the best one of them because we call it a groaner. Oh, thank you. Your call is very important to me.
Mm.
Then why aren't you there? So those are the 5. Your call is very important to me. All righty. questions at the time? Because if you've got something on these things, we've got the answers for them.
What does your voicemail say?
It doesn't have any of those on them. And right now, if you want to call it, my phone is on silent. You're welcome to call it. 314-276-1012. St. Louis, 314-276-1012. Oh, she's calling it right now. Well, I don't even know where my phone is right now. But are you going to listen to it?
Do you want me to call it right now?
You call it whenever you want, Yvonne.
Okay.
All right. All right. This one I just pulled out is killer words of customer service. Killer words of customer service. We have a Telephone Doctor has 3 divisions: our online platform, Nancy programs, and webinars. And our online platform is called serviceskills.com. Serviceskills.com. It's a boutique, unique platform, if you will. 15 series, 150 modules with just most anything you could want: management, customer service, communication skills, internal, external. It's very effective, serving over 30,000 clients around the country, around the world. And this remote time, it's really not going gangbusters, but it's going pretty well because the remote training is so needed. People working from their homes that don't know how to work away from their desks. So bottom line, one of the programs is called Killer Words of Customer Service. And my husband, Dick, is the author of all our customer service training programs. And when he wrote this programs, I knew it was going to be a big hit. So we're not going to give you all 8 killer words of customer service, but I'll give you the top frustrating one. And as soon as I say it, you're going to probably say, oh, I don't like that either. And that is when you say, thank you so much. And somebody says to you, no problem. No problem. What am I, a problem?
Didn't think I was.
Yeah, I didn't think I was. So it is not just the kids that say it. I mean, you know, good big executives, hey, no problem, no sweat, no worries. That's another one nobody likes. Again, these are surveys. And I can tell you that no problem is replaced so easily with you're welcome.
Thank you.
That's all. You're welcome. My pleasure. Glad to do it. Hope we can do it again. Thanks for being here. I mean, I can give you 10 samples right now. So no problem is a huge problem. It's hard to get out of your vocabulary when you've been saying it for X number of years. I know it is. I haven't said it in 2-3 years since the program came out. It's just a big X at Telephone Doctor. You're welcome. Brian, you having fun?
I am.
How can I tell? Okay. Here's one. What do we got here? Ask for time to talk. Now, Marshall, you're in sales, so I know you know this, but making a phone call to anyone without saying, did I catch you at a bad time? Do you have a moment to talk? Is a huge no-no, a huge no-no. You start the conversation out like that, talking and then say, oh, by the way, did I catch you? No, those are your first words. And Tom, if you remember when I call you, I said, Tom, if I caught you at a bad time, let me know. This is Nancy Friedman. So I give you the choice. We get, as a Telephone Doctor, these techniques, by the way, are condition of employment, grounds for termination, and we exercise our options. It just, that's the way we follow. We walk the walk, we talk the talk, we practice what we preach. So bottom line, when you're calling somebody, my mother lived with me for 20 years. And when I would call home, I would say, hi, Mom, it's Nancy. Do you have a quick moment? You don't know what people are doing. You're an interruption. When that phone rings, it's an interruption. Whether you're reading a book, watching television, going to sleep, whatever it is, you're an interruption. Even a planned meeting, an invite. Oh, I got an invite at 2 o'clock with Marshall. I would say, Marshall, is this still a good time to talk? It's Nancy. And you say, you know what, Nancy, I am behind schedule, or yes, it is. This is probably the one technique that gets Telephone Doctor employees the most compliments, because they're all told, small staff of 20 people, they're all told, you guys are the only ones who asked me, did I catch you at a bad time? Wow. Probably not the only ones, but the only ones that called them. So that's my issue. All right, well, we've got just a few more minutes because I'm going to close it off in about 7 for some questions. And, remember I talked about caller ID? Thank you. Do you use it, Yvonne? Do you use caller ID?
I do.
Tom?
Yep, I do.
Marshall?
I would say I do.
Brian?
You do.
I don't. I took it out of our office. I removed it. Why? Let me tell you why. We had it. And one day my secretary came running into me, big tears, elephant tears, crying her eyes out, sobbing. I thought somebody had passed away. I said, what happened? She couldn't talk. Finally, she gathered herself together. And here's what happened to Jeannie. She saw the caller ID and she saw her fiance's name. She picked up the phone and said something very personal and inappropriate. Right. It was not her fiance. It was her fiance's boss. I said, Jeannie, it serves you right. Why would you answer the phone any other way than what we say? I mean, that just proves my point. Well, thankfully, he didn't get fired, but the bottom line, you can see, oh, I see it's time to phone calling. I don't pick it up with, hi, Tom, because it could be Yvonne using his phone. Who knows? Our standard is just you pick it up with your name. Hi, it's Nancy. And then they'll say, hi, it's so-and-so. Oh, good to talk with you. That it just isn't necessary to pick it up with that name. It's not wrong. It's not bad. You'll still go to heaven, but it's not necessary. So when you see the caller ID, to pick it up with, hi, Nancy, number one, it spoils the surprise of the call. All right? It just spoils the surprise. It's not terrible. But sometimes I've asked my husband, Dick, make a call. I got to call you. Will you just get her on the line for me? And you might say something that wasn't appropriate to him. I know you don't pick it up with, hi, what are you wearing? But the bottom line is just keep it normal, keep it good, keep it professional.
So Nancy, this is Tom. I have a question for you in reference to that, because most people today, they have a cell phone that they're using. And
Right.
that they're making contacts back and forth. That's how we communicate with most of our clients, and most clients are communicating with their customers. Unless you have maybe a retail business or maybe some kind of a phone center or something like that, most businesses either don't have a line, or it's forwarded to directly to a business owner or an employee, or right now where things are just getting shuffled around with direct lines. So how, culturally, it's kind of become a norm, whether we like that or not, or
It doesn't
so
make it right.
how do
It
you
doesn't
address
make-
that?
It doesn't make it right, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, can I say this nicely? Because your question is an often asked one.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've answered it, but the bottom line is it's still professional to say, hi, this is Nancy, or with the company name. You can know who it is, but Tom, you can be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody could give the phone to somebody else, use somebody else's phone. And then if you say, well, hi, Bob, you son of a gun, this isn't Bob, this is Bob's partner. And, now you've hurt somebody's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen often. It only needs to happen once for you
Right.
to realize that maybe I should just pick up the phone with, hi, this is Tom. Hi, this is Yvonne. Hi, this is Brian. Hi, this is Marshall. Maybe that's the way you should do it. I'm not saying to do it.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if you did that, people aren't going to say, what the hell, didn't you see my name on the phone? They're not going to say that.
Right.
And if you still want to pick it up with, hi, Susie, or hi, Nancy, it's not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And at a retail location, they should be picking it up with, good morning, XYZ company. This is Mary. So, I mean, that's a whole nother story.
And thank you. Yeah. And I'm just thinking from the vantage point of what someone might be thinking or say, or to just challenge at. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
I get a lot of calls.
Mm-hmm.
And I just say, hi, it's Nancy. My own son says, you saw who it was. I said, yeah, but I just still say, hi, it's Nancy. Because once I did call, say, hi to him and his name, it wasn't him. He had given it to one of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, why be wrong? Why take the chance of being wrong?
Mm-hmm.
We're professionals.
Yep. Great point. I like it.
Okay, I'm going to pick. Do you have one that you would? I'm going to look at these and see if there's any ones that I missed, because we have a few left over, Tom. And
Yeah. Well, I would like for you to talk about the one that I had, you and I had talked briefly about through email, which was just in reference to today's economic situation with the coronavirus. And, let's just say a customer calls, or they're upset, or, there's a lot of stress out there. I think it's getting better the longer we're kind of living in the current situation, but people are stressed. There's a lot of anxiety and worry and concern. And people who prior to the pandemic would have been, peachy on the phone. They would have been very kind and thoughtful. But now they're a little on edge, and their wick may be a little shorter here to light the fuse. And so now they're maybe a little more on edge. So how would you suggest to people in trying to handle those situations, either avoiding them or just trying to subdue them a little sooner rather than later?
Long question. I got you, though. I got you covered. I wasn't going to forget you. I was just going to transition into that a little bit differently.
Yeah.
There's two answers to that. Number one, since everybody's sort of in the same position,
Mm-hmm.
you have two divisions. You have the person answering the phone and the person making the phone call. So let me talk to each one separately. So I'm the company. I've had so many requests over the past few months. Nancy, how should we be answering the phones now during this time? I said, well, what were you doing before?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we were always happy, and I talked to you. I said, why would you change?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you change when you're doing something right? So you need to answer the phone, maybe a little peppier, maybe a little happier, maybe with a little better smile, a little bit more friendly. That's okay. But I wouldn't change a thing in the way you're answering the phone. Now, the person that's calling in is the downer.
Mm-hmm.
We have no control over that other than staying positive. Good to hear your voice. Here's the last technique I'll share with you on this particular program, because it was the next one coming out. There are 4 useless words on a phone call, even in person, and you won't be able to guess them, so I'll tell you. Maybe Marshall does, because she reads my stuff. The words, hi, how are you, are useless. 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 It's social noise.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when you used to pass somebody in the hallway? Hi, how are you? Fine, thank you. How are you? Nobody's listening. Hi, how are you? You, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? How are you? How are you? Nothing happens. I don't know about you. I'm in sales. I don't like it when nothing happens. I don't like it at all. So the bottom line,
How may I help you?
phone rings. Somebody says, hi, this is Bob Smith. Well, great to hear your voice. I'm glad you called. It just changes the tone. Plus, it makes you in control of the conversation. Because just as negativity is contagious, so is being nice, and so is being kind, and so is being happy. And I'm not talking, somebody died in your family? Good, I'm nice. Good to hear. No, that's a shame. That's a shame. As a matter of fact, we've heard some in our own area, and I sympathize with you. So I'm not a fan of giving in to something just because it's here. We all have the COVID around us. I just heard 2 sad stories yesterday, and I gave my sympathies and offered, but it is up to us as salespeople to control the conversation. So if you were good before, be good now. Be good pre, be good during, be good after, be better after. Because right now, the customer service and communication skills is top priority. So I had a good time. I don't know about everybody else.
Thank you.
And
Yes,
Marshall, you're getting a prize. You're getting a mask when I get them in. They are on order.
Yay. I will wear it proudly.
Thank you. You're getting a smile mask for the telephone doctor. Brian, I think you need a smile mask too. You're going to get, Brian's going to get.
There it is.
So that's what you all are going to get. Where'd he go? He dropped something. Okay.
So Nancy, I wanted to share this, to just pop this up here as kind of a closeout. So thank you for being here, Nancy. We really appreciate your time, your wisdom, your golden nuggets here. And this is, Nancy, do you want to explain this?
Yeah, I will for a moment. Yeah, if you're posting this online, that would be great. Service Skills is our telephone doctor's online platform, our e-learning online platform. It has 15 series, 150 modules. It's used by over 30,000 clients around, as I said, the world. We help companies communicate better with their customers and coworkers. So many people forget about the internal customer service. Oh my gosh. With our 3 divisions, Service Skills runs the boat, floats the ship. I will say that. We have a concierge team that takes care of the customers once they come on board with us. They help them onboarding, etc. I'm doing virtual programs now rather than on site. I'm still a little nervous to travel, number one, and I think we're called endangered species. The bottom line, and then we have the webinars too. So thank you all for partaking, listening, and having fun with me. I had a good time.
Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.
Thank
A
you.
pleasure. A pleasure.
And your golden nuggets. Thank you.
Well, they're my babies. I'm glad to share them with you all. Have a wonderful day. And Tom and Yvonne, thank you. Brian.
Thank you, Nancy. Enjoyed
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Tom,
you, Nancy.
Did y'all see my shirt?
I love it. Kindnesses.
Okay.
Tom, thank you for organizing.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll get this posted on a replay as well and be sharing this also. So
Thank you all. Have a wonderful day and weekend.
Thank
Go
you.
Cubbies.
You too.
Go Cubbies.
Go Cubbies.
Take care.
All right, take care.
All right.
Bye.